You remember that in 2021 there's a meme about huge and tall lady who everyone's begged her to step on them? Yeah, and you now can play this lady on Honkai style, except she's not that huge and cannot transform into a 4 king dragon. And let's talk about Jade now. Lady Dimitrescu, Lady Bona Jade, is one of the 10 cornerstone quantum type following path of erudition. She is a sub DPS for your AoE carry and buffing them with speed. Normal attack is a blast damage, and this is important because I will explain it in a second. For skills, she will buff a teammate to become her debt collector, making the debt collector have increased 30 flat speed. And every time the debt collector hit a target, there is a small additional quantum damage that is very small, I even don't care anymore, but it just hit one target. Lastly, the debt collector will drain some HP every time the debt collector take turns. Lasts for 3 turns, decreasing for every start of Jade turn, and Jade cannot use her skill as long as it lasts. Next, the talent is, every time Jade or the debt collector hit target, Jade will get a stack per target. After gaining 8 stacks, she will do an AoE follow-up attack, and this follow-up attack cannot gain stack herself, and you can gain more than 8 stacks. Even if your Jade stunned, the stack will go on. Lastly, every time Jade hits enemy with follow-up attacks, she will gain pawn asset stacks up to 50 stacks, and every stacks will gain crit damage buff, and finally the ultimate is an area attack and increase her follow-up attack multiplier. That's it. And for technique, she will gain 15 pawn asset stacks after using technique. Then for major traces, we have every time enemy spawns, she will gain pawn asset, and every time the debt collector turn starts, she will gain 3 pawn asset. Next, when the battle starts, Jade will be advanced forward by 50%, and this is important to make sure there is a debt collector at the start of the battle. Lastly, every pawn asset stacks will increase her attack by 0.5%. Minor traces increase her quantum damage, attack, and effect resist. And effect resist is important because if she stunned when the debt collector status down, it is a huge loss of DPS. And now let's continue to the next segment. Actually, I already explained some of it at the skill section, but here it is. Start with casting skill to your main damage dealer of choice, making he or she a debt collector. Then cast the ultimate to increase the follow-up attack. And I forgot to mention that the increased multiplier only works on 2 instances of follow-up attack. Then she is an SP positive unit because she will do 1 skill and 2 basics for every rotation. Also, she can use her skill for herself, but she will not gain the speed buff and will not drain the HP. Lightcon time, and this one is very straightforward. Her signature, yet hope is priceless, is the best. Free crit stats and additional defense ignore is very strong. Then you have 5-star Lightcons. Every Lightcon in this category is equally strong. Choose wisely. And for 4-star Lightcon is also equally strong. Choose the one with the most superimposition in it. And let's talk about the Herta shop one. Eternal Calculus is not that great for Jade because you don't need that speed buff. It is better to give the Eternal Calculus Lightcon on your debt collector. It's nice, I guess. And for all the 5-star and 4-star Lightcon, damage percent is more important on her, so attack LC is least preferable. And after the long part of LC, we talk about the Relic set and Planar set. Best in slot for Jade is Quantum set, the Genius, and follow-up attack sets, the Grand Duke. Pick one with the better substat or move that Quantum set from Scylla because no one uses her anymore. Just aside, Quantum sets is priceless with defense ignore, but if the enemy is not weak to Quantum, Grand Duke sets is better. For Planar set, you have so much option. Inner Salsoto for crit rate and general use, Duran if your debt collector has follow-up attack, Izumo if your debt collector is also an erudition unit, and lastly the least useful, the Signonia sets, only if your Jade is debt collector herself, which is not really recommended. And for the main set is crit rate body, attack boots, quantum damage orb, and attack link robe. There is some build consisting of energy broke because you will get more follow-up damage, but I also not recommend you to do that. For the substat, you want crit rate around 80 or 90%, followed by attack percent and crit damage. Why? Because you will gain huge amount of crit damage from the pawn asset stacks. So to make sure she deals maximum damage and reach that golden ratio for 1 to 2 crit rate to crit damage ratio. And then effect resist is also important. And lastly, defense and HP for survivability. And for Eidolon, we have a good Eidolon here. Eidolon 1 enables your hand follow-up unit to be a debt collector for Jade because 1 or 2 units hit by them will gain 2 or 1 charge of follow-up attack. Eidolon 2, after gaining 15 pawn assets, you will gain 18% crit rate and you can get crit damage body with this Eidolon. Eidolon 3, skill and talent level increase, and this is a good point to stop spending. Eidolon 4, Jade gains 12% defense ignore after using ultimate, lasts for 3 turns and good Eidolon so far. Eidolon 5, increase her basics and ultimate level. What are you looking at? Get that Eidolon 6, that is 20% resistant penetration on Jade with Debt Collector access, and Jade herself will gain Debt Collector buff after using skill to another teammate. Very strong Eidolon, but not the strongest I ever see. So let's talk about that huge controversy here, about the Eidolon versus the Light Cone. And the answer is, Jade on Eidolon 0 is currently tied to only pure fiction content to increase her pawn asset as much as possible. But with Eidolon 1, she will be a monster on Apocalyptic Shadow and as well as Memory Chaos, with possibility to use hand unit like Ratio and Topaz for the main damage dealer. If it is your thing, get the Eidolon. But if you only play her on pure fiction, then Lightcone is winning. Eidolon 2 and 3 is also a thing if you're really lucky. And then let's talk about the team synergy. For Debt Collector candidate, we have Herta and Himeko, depends on what weakness we are facing. Then Argenti and Qingyuan come in the second tier. Technically, you can use Qingcui and Serval, but their damage is overshadowed by Herta as 4-star unit. And lastly, we have non-erudition man damage unit. Blade will benefit the HP drain, making his follow-up attack comes out faster. Then Kafka with fast follow-up attack, blast skill and 2-turn ultimate, and Black Swan with blast and defense threat skill. Firefly can also be good because you will get so much turn, but you will missing out the break damage. Then the support, typically you want dual carry support such as Warani with damage increase, resistant penetration and speed buff, very strong unit, and Asta for speed and attack buff. Also, we can use Robin in this slot because the advance forward for entire party is very strong to make sure that follow-up attacks trigger for every so often. And follow-up crit damage boost synergize well with this kind of team. Bronya and Sporko also useful, the advance forward for Debt Collector. I mean, Jade is very SP positive unit, so you can bring any Harmony unit. And for a sustain, any sustain is possible, is using Robin. You have Aventurine to gain that follow-up boost, and Aventurine will refresh the shield after teammate using follow-up attacks. Husuan also a good candidate with crit rate boost, and Huoho for energy regen and attack boost. And last 5-star is Luocha with whatever he's capable of. Any other unit is good, but actually for pure fiction, sustain is less valuable. Just hope your unit not getting hit as much. Phew, that's a long synergy section, but we are not done yet. Example teams we have Jade, Himeko, Runmei, and Aventurine. Of course, you can change Himeko with other damage units set above, and Harmony with Robin or Asta, and sustain unit with another Harmony or Erudition unit. And if you get Eidolon 1, you can get single target unit like Tricio, Topaz, and Scylla. And now there's a showcase, I guess. I'm recording this pure fiction after I cleared one. And then I get Jade after I clearing the pure fiction. So I came to pure fiction again to just record this b-roll. Okay, enjoy the showcase, guys.
Resistance is unity. Don't let me down. All will be swept away by the wind. Bending the rules. You won't get away. The Eidolon conceals its desire to control the heavens, and I am no exception. For a lesson. There's no backing out now. For me or you. You won't get away.
So devils, I'll crush them all!
Who's the little backstabber? Eternal. All will be swept away by the wind. The Eidolon conceals its desire to control the heavens, and I am no exception. You've got a lot of nerve.
So devils, I'll crush them all!
There's no backing now. For me or you. Who's the little backstabber? You won't get away. Don't let me down. All will be swept away by the wind. Just graze. You won't get away. Bending the rules. You won't get away. The Eidolon conceals its desire to control the heavens, and I am no exception. Bending the rules. There's no backing out now. For me or you. You won't get away. Who's the little backstabber? Resistance is unity.
And this is the end of the script. Overall, she is a strong pure fiction unit, but falls in any other content. Just watch that clip from before and you will understand. Thanks for watching and see you in another guide video.